We have a guest with us. Chris Schmitz is the new local director at the YFC. It replaces Nancy Hoppia. Many of you are familiar with Nancy. Most anybody who's spent any time in the area knows Nancy because she's been so involved and has been in that ministry for a number of years. But Chris is kind of new to the area, and so this is our opportunity to say, hey, this is Chris. This is the new face of YFC on the local front, and kind of figure out what they're doing. So Chris, you want to come on up? So like I said, Chris, you're new to the area. You want to go ahead and take a moment to tell us about yourself?
This is kind of like watching a really uncomfortable television. I've been involved in different church ministries as a pastor for about a decade, and happened to be in between churches and kind of wonder what God had for us next. And wound up in a town where I was a pastor, and I was just kind of doing something else out there visiting, and went to a Bible study, not a Bible study, actually a prayer meeting in the basement of a church that had been planted by a friend of mine in that area, and just happened to bump into the local YFC guy that I knew from the area when I was pastoring out there. He was out there and he planted a YFC group, and he just kind of bumped into each other. Hey, it's been a couple of years since I'd seen you, almost a year, and he goes, well, yeah, what are you doing? What's God doing in your life? And we started talking. I'm like, I'm kind of looking for something new, trying to find what God's got for me next. He's like, you have to talk to this guy. I don't believe this is a coincidence. And I met with the regional guy basically from northern Minnesota, the border up from here in Canada, all the way down to bottom of Texas, and then a whole range of places in between. I met with him, and he's like, I like you. You're funny. And looks at everything, but we got to put you somewhere in YFC, and I'm going to call you every couple of weeks and see if somebody's called you. He sent my resume out for me. He's like, we want you somewhere in YFC, and they wound up Bob Poe up in Wilmer called me, and he's like, you're not very far from me. I've been looking all over the country for somebody that fits kind of this. He's like, come in and talk to me. And I went down, and a couple of weeks later, he asked me to be involved in a few things as a volunteer with the idea that, hey, if you don't totally bungle things, you'll come on staff. So that's how we wound up here in Redwood.
Very good. We've been fortunate enough to have just an ongoing presence with YFC. You and Nancy were actually able to overlap, so there wasn't even a gap there in the ministry. But I know we toss around YFC like everybody knows what it is, but we use a lot of those letters, and sometimes they get all jumbled up. But YFC Youth for Christ. Tell us a little bit about the ministry of Youth for Christ. Well, what do you exist for?
One of the first meetings, because I was never really sure, because I transitioned out of being a pastor into Youth for Christ. So, and I'll tell you, one of the things, and I share this with a lot of pastors, because from a pastor's perspective, whenever a Youth for Christ guy came in, it was my first, in my early ministry, my first experiences with YFC weren't always pleasant. In the back of my mind, I kept thinking, okay, so how many kids are you trying to steal for your youth group, kind of a thing? We're not that. Well, one of the first meetings I had with Bob, I was just sitting in on a staff meeting. He made it a point to express to his other guys who wanted to kind of do something that was a little bit outside of our vision, and they were kind of where it might overlap more with what the church was doing. And he just looked at me and said, "No, we're not going to do that." He said, "Fishermen catch fish. You guys are wanting to clean fish." He said, "We want to plug kids into the churches. We want to make new converts. So your job is to go out and catch more fish. If you've got all this time to be cleaning fish," he said, "yeah, you should be living lives with kids and show them the way, what it's like to be, a good Christian role model. But get them in their church to do that. Live life alongside them so they see that in you, but that's not your primary job. If you get this extra time, you need to find something new to go out and reach new kids." So our mission statement is Youth for Christ reaches young people everywhere. We're partnering with local churches and with like-minded professionals, just people in Christians everywhere, to make lifelong followers of Jesus Christ. And that's the first line of our mission statement.
Fantastic. So what are you doing on the local front to make that happen?
I'm trying to meet as many people as I can. Whether I know them already and they have friends, or whether they're somebody completely and totally I don't know, I'll just walk up to people and start conversations. it's not easy to do. And people are like, wow, that was awesome. I'm like, yeah, I'm scared of that. But this is my scared face right here. So I'm a little bit hard to read like that, I guess.
Okay. So a number of different activities. We've had an opportunity to partner with Fusion Youth Rallies and kind of getting some kids together across denominational lines and everything, bringing them together so they can see each other.
But by the way, thinking about that, we did that big dodgeball thing. That was a lot of fun. Your drummer back here, what's his name?
Drummer?
Yes, what's your name? What? Ben, didn't you almost smoke me in the face with the dodgeball? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, our friends is coming, buddy.
So, that being said, we have another Fusion event coming up. I just picked up a flyer in the back about a concert this coming Friday, I believe it is. Audio and Redwood on their Kings and Queens tour. They have Group 1 Crew, Manic Drive, Seventh Day Slumber, some pretty great bands, and it's only an hour away really in Wilmer. So lots of activities that are coming up. Can you tell us about some of the other things?
Yeah. By the way, on this, there's a price tag on the tickets. It's $12. That's pretty cheap for these bands. I've seen some of them before. I have tickets. If you want to go, I will give away some tickets for free. Like the first, I don't know, so many people that come up and see me. I've got them for free. I got about 30 total between now and Friday to give away. Come see me, and we'll make that happen. But yeah, we got a lot of fun events. We're going to start bringing some local bands. They do that in Wilmer, at the Warehouse Ministry. A friend of mine runs that. We brought kids from here to there to check out some of the bands, and that's a real draw for a lot of kids that wouldn't be caught dead stepping inside of a church. And those are the kind of kids that I really want to minister to. And a lot of them have associations and friendships with local Christian kids, so we get a pretty good mix over at Youth for Christ. Which is great because that gives a chance for Christian teenagers to step up, to be leaders, to share their faith, maybe where they can kind of start when they kind of hesitate or when they're not really sure. I'm someone that's right there. I mean, that's my job as an evangelist. I can kind of jump in and help facilitate that. But we get a lot of those kids and we take them out and just build lives, show them my faith so that they can build an aspect of faith in their life and start walking alongside them. So we do a lot of different fun events like the bands, like I said, especially in the summertime. We get out once a week and we do stuff. And we try to do stuff about weekly and that stuff. I'm a board game nerd, so I'll take kids out and play board games usually once a week. We play a lot of ultimate frisbee in the summer, disc golf. I'm really horrible at regular golf, so if you invite me, prepare to have your self-esteem boosted.
Well, I'm assuming that as far as a teenager is concerned, really the only way that you're going to get involved is just show up. Yeah, and you don't have to have any special prerequisites or anything. But as far as some of the adults, what are some ways that they can partner with you in ministry?
Oh, we've got two primary needs. Just adults willing to come in and live lives alongside the kids, do what I'm doing, help amplify my ministry. People that really look and quantify the statistics, look at the statistics and stuff on ministry, they say that a pastor, you, me, typical, just a Christian anywhere, can really only have about 8 to 12 authentic Christ-sharing relationships. People that just truly speak all the time into somebody's life. Not to say that you can't impact more people, because you can, but think about, are you guys all nerds here, like me? Lord of the Rings, right? Bilbo Baggins, he's standing up there and he goes, I feel like too little butter spread across too much toast, or something like that, right? And that's really what it is. You can only spread yourself so far before you start to get too thin, and you can't have that taste. You can't be salty, to reference the Bible, salt and light. So when we have adults that can come in and help be that, reach an additional 8 to 12 people, just to be there, to be looking to make those connections and friends, that helps me amplify my ministry and helps me reach more kids. Because some people need more than others. Some people, you walk in like, hey, dude, you need Jesus. You're right. And some people are like, you need Jesus. I'm like, who? You're pronouncing it. It's pronounced Jesus. Some people, they have no idea who I'm even talking about. Some people need more than just the cursory, hey dude, get saved. All right, yeah. So we need adults for that need. The other need is we need people to partner with us financially. We're completely and totally fundraised. We operate just like any missionary, only I don't have to go overseas, which is Good, because I don't want to change the way I dress and learn to eat new food, because some places have gross stuff.
There you go. Missionary in your
Absolutely.
So there's tons of ways to get involved, and really the best thing to do is probably just touch base with you and you'll get them connected in that. And you're in the office.
The best way is to call me, and I think my number's on there. The office is very often open, but a lot of times, because kids don't keep any regular schedule. I mean, you know, a lot of times I'll wind up, I'll get a phone call and I'll be somewhere. So when people try and drop in on me, a lot of times the door's locked and nobody's there, because I'm on campus. And like, you know, some of the tragedy we've had recently in our community. I sometimes get over and work with some kids in Marshall. I have a former YFC student who's trying to reach out more on his local campus. So we go over there and we just kind of hang out in the student center there and meet kids and, you know, try to build relationships there. So I'm all over the place doing whatever I can. Like Paul, I become all things to all men, or I might win some. I'll go wherever and do whatever if it means being able to share Christ with someone.
So definitely hit you up on the cell phone.
Yeah, hit me up on the cell phone. Hit us up on the on our Facebook there. You can try and drop in or leave a message. It's just random. You never know if I'm going to be there or not, because I might be doing something.
Anything that I'm missing out here that you really just had on your heart to share today?
We do have coming up our annual spring banquet, and I'm trying not. I still want to tell a story, but I'm not going to, because then you hear it again if you come to a spring banquet. I want to tell you guys a story. It's called Charlie's Story. I think you've heard Charlie's Story, right? Yeah, probably. It's a story. It was Charlie's birthday the other day, so something was real heavy on my mind. Charlie's a kid that I worked with for a number of years, because just because I've left somebody, I've left the area, doesn't mean that I break a relationship with somebody. He's a kid that I just kind of met in passing. I do some subs-teaching and stuff. I actually met him in a public school, wound up building a relationship that continued to exist for years and years, even into he was first or second year of college over the same class.
So the spring banquet is a chance for you to kind of connect to the community, but also it's a fundraising opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a free meal, and it's just a good time. There's also an auction, or not an auction, it's like a bake sale. One of my main hobbies, I really enjoy cooking. If you guys, anybody here go to the comedy cafe we did? We brought out a comedian, we had pies. I made like something like, I'm gonna guess like a fifth of all those pies I made. I mean, just made a ton of them. And they were amazing, because I'm a pretty good cook. People look at me, I'm kind of skeptical of you. That's just because the way the judge put by its cover and it tastes my pie. And then that's a trap. I'm drinking a Kool-Aid.
So that, you know, if somebody really wants to get involved in fundraising, they just hire you to come over and cook.
People want to cook. I enjoy that. I don't do the dishes. My wife is constantly upset about that. We make a huge mess. Yeah, so anyway, our fundraiser for that, that's a separate one we do with a fundraiser within a fundraiser, and that sends kids to camp. One of the things that I'm really trying to do is keep our budget on task and we'll be accountable with that. We're typically always over budget. And so one of the things we're doing this year is I found a camp, and I know the camp director personally. We can send 3 kids to this camp for the cost of 1 kid for the camp we previously done. So we're really excited to be able to send more kids to camp in this community.
Well, you know, in addition to Chris being a local resource, we actually have 2 members of Cornerstone who are on the board for YFC. Gwen Harrington. Gwen, you want to stand up? And Joanne Danke is over here on this side. We're definitely, as a church, trying to do our part to work with the kids in our community. That's near and dear to my heart. I went to school for youth ministry, started out here at the church in youth ministry, so we're thankful for you and for what you do.